And welcome to part 13 of the order block strategy. Now, in this video, by now you should know how to actually trade the strategy, but the main thing that you'll probably come across is what time frames do you actually use. So with what time frames you want to use, it will depend on what type of trader you want to be, whether you want to intraday, whether you want to scalp, whether you want to swing trade, or whether you want to position trade. Swing trade, position trade, pretty much same thing. But yeah, so I'm going to give you some rules that you can utilize if you want to. You don't have to, but I'll give you some set rules on how to use the time frames. Hopefully helps clear things up and helps you bring everything together. So in this video, I'm not actually going to show you the strategy again. I'm just going to talk about the time frame combinations that you can use depending on how you wish to trade. Okay, so we're going to use the rule of 3. So the rule of 3 essentially is, say if you're going to use a weekly time frame POI, what you're going to do, you're going to count back 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is the setup that you want, okay? Ignore the 30-second unless you want that there or not. It's completely up to you. Okay, so let's start off with this setup. If you want to use monthly again, you can. Actually, we'll start off with a monthly. If you want to use a monthly POI, right, you're going to count back. So say we're going to do this, okay? Okay, so this is for the monthly. Say you've got a monthly POI sitting there. Now, in order for your confirmation entry, once price actually comes back in here, what time frames do you use? Okay, so in this situation, you're going to count back 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to ignore 1 and use the remaining 2. Okay, you can either use the daily for your confirmation entry, which is one of these, or you can use the 4-hour. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to do that. Sorry. I didn't need to, oh god. apologies. Let me go back to where I was. So you can either use, actually I was in the monthly, wasn't I? There you go. Okay, I won't switch time frames anymore because I don't need to. So if you're using the monthly, for example, in this situation, let's just say M. Okay, in this situation, for your confirmation entry, you can use the daily or the 4-hour. Okay, in terms of finding your confirmation entry pattern, whether you're going to use entry type number 1 or entry type number 2, that is completely up to you. If you are going to use this is essentially position trading, where it's long-term swings. It's completely up to you if you want to do that, but remember, you can still refine your entry again. So if you are going to do this, so say if you use a monthly POI, which is where price is now, and then you use, say that this is the 4-hour, and then say you got an entry point here, you can do this again. You can look for your entry criteria again, and if you use the 4-hour, okay, you can use the rule of 3 again. So 1, 2, 3. You're going to use the 30-minute or the 15-minute for your entry. Now, if this is the case and you get another entry, okay, you get your entry point here, okay, you're going to go back, you're going to do the rule of 3 again. So say, for example, if you got the 15-minute, you can count back 3. You can use the 1-minute or the 30-second. Now, if you don't have the 30-second, to be fair, for this situation, you can use the 5-minute and the 1-minute if you want to. Again, looking for your chart pattern, whether it's this one or whether it's this one. Okay, it's completely up to you which one. Well, it depends on which one shows up, and it's up to you how much you want to refine it. So if you're using the monthly time frame, this will be a confirmation within confirmation within confirmation within confirmation, but with a set rules of what time frame you're going to use. Okay, now just to clear this situation. Okay, if you want to swing trade, right, you don't need to have tight stops in this situation if you want to position or swing trade. Okay, this is more suited for people who don't have time in front of the charts at all. So say, for example, you have this situation here. Okay, your entry point is here. This is the monthly. Okay, you're going to use inside here. Okay, inside here you're going to go back 3. So you either use the daily or the 4-hour to find the exact same chart pattern. And say you use the 4-hour, for example, you could simply enter off here. Now, although on this 4 hour, this is considered a risk entry, it's a confirmation entry of the higher time frame. Okay, so this is still a confirmation, but it is using a higher time frame. Your stop loss is going to be a lot bigger than you would do using a lower time frame, but this is more for people who just don't have the time to sit in the charts too often, because these setups don't happen that often. In fact, they happen a few times a year. So if you don't have the time to actually sit at the charts, this is the way to do it, and is a very relaxed way, and you will have a bigger stop loss. However, if you think about it, with a monthly POI, I mean, monthly moves, they're going to be huge. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So it is relative in that sense. Okay, we'll move on to the weekly. So same thing again. Okay, if you use the weekly time frame, I'm not going to click it this time. Okay, same thing. So say this is weekly, right? You're going to go back 3. Okay, your confirmation entry is going to be here. All right, your confirmation entry is exactly the same pattern as we know. Is either going to be this one, or it's going to be this one. Okay, either one of the two, whichever one shows up. But if you're on the weekly, you're going to go back 3, so 1, 2, 3, and you use either the 1 hour or the 4 hour for your entry confirmation. Okay, so again, it may seem like a risk entry on that time frame, but it's not. It's a confirmation entry of the weekly time frame outlook. So you can do this on the 1 hour. That's very bad. You can either do this on the 1 hour, or you could do it on the 4 hour. Okay, it's completely up to you what time frames you want to use, and that does not look like 1 hour or 4 hour, but I'll type this up at the end so you can screenshot it. Okay, same thing again. Let me go. Now, this video may not be useful to all of you, but it's just to give you guys a set of rules that you can do, that you can use for your time frames. And the reason why I've done the rule of 3 is because it's something that I've been trying to find a rule-based way to use time frames, and this is what I found. The rule of 3 was probably the best way to do it. So now let's go to the daily. Okay, exactly the same situation. You have this, your entry point is here, right? And say this is daily. You go back 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 1, 2. So you find your entry criteria on either the hourly, or you find it on the 30-minute. Okay, again, it's a confirmation entry of that higher time frame, right? And same thing again. I don't know why I need to keep deleting everything, to be fair. Same thing again if you use the 4 hour. So let's do 4 hour. That looks better actually for a 4 hour. Same thing, you're going to go back 3, so 1, 2, 3, skip 1. You're going to use the M30. You know what, I'm not going to delete the thing anymore. Okay, you use the M30 or the M15 for your entry. Okay, let's get rid of this and say if you want to do, now if you use the 4 hour, this is more of a intraday move, so just bear that in mind. If daily and above, they're swing trades, and 4 hour below, they're intraday. What was I doing? Yeah, and if you use the 1 hour, okay, go back 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 15-minute and the 5-minute is going to be your entry confirmation. Okay, and in this situation you can use the 1 minute as well. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but ideally the 15 and the 5-minute will give you clearer entries from what I found. If you find better time frames that work for you, then it's completely up to you, but this is to give you a rule-based way to approach your time frames. Now if you want to scalp, however, I don't know why I deleted that again. If you want to scalp, let's go into the 15-minute. I wouldn't advise doing the 30-minute for scalping. 15-minute is fine. Say if you get your entry criteria here, your confirmation entry, if you skip 1, is going to be the 1 minute or the 30-second or below. Again, you can use a 5-minute if you want. To be fair, it doesn't make a huge difference in this situation with the rule of 3, but generally the 1 minute for your entry confirmation would be ideal way to go about it. Okay, so the main thing to take away, okay, and I'll type this up for you guys. So time frame combos. Okay, So swing, I'm not gonna write position, swings, position, same thing. Okay, so if you use a weekly time frame, you're gonna use, remember, the rule of 3. So let me type this at the top actually. Rule of 3. Oh, not a pound. 3. Right, you're gonna use the weekly time frame. Actually, I'll put in the monthly since I spoke about it. So monthly time frame, you're gonna count back 3. 1, 2, 3. You're gonna use the 4-hour or the daily for your entry confirmation. 4-hour or daily for confirmation. Now this is only for confirmation entries, by the way. For risk entries, it doesn't make a difference what you do. There's not really any time frame combos. You can just refine an OB to how you wish to use it. Okay, so we've got that so far. The next one, if we're going to use the weekly, we're going to use, again, count back 3. 1, 2, 3. You're going to use the 1 hour or the 4 hour for your entry. 1 hour or 4 hour for entry. If you use the daily, again, count back 3. You're going to use the 1 hour or the 30 minutes. If you're going to use the 4 hour, you are going to use the 30 minute or the 15 minute. If you're going to use the 1 hour, you're going to use 15 minute or 5 minutes or 1 minute for this one. And then if you're going to use the 15 minutes, you're going to use the 5, 1 minute or 30 second. Okay, so that's swing trading in those ones, and then intraday. There we go. So this is the rule of 3. Okay, you're going to count backwards. So you find your time frame, count backwards 3, 1, 2, 3, use the remaining 2, skip 1, use the remaining 2. Weekly, count back 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1, use the remaining 2. Okay, for your time frames, if you're swing trading, you're going to use the monthly time frame, 4 hour or daily confirmation. Weekly, you're going to use a 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily, you're going to use a 1 hour or 30 minute. For intraday, you're going to use a 4 hour, and you're going to use a 30 or 15 minute for confirmation. 1 hour, you're going to use a 15, 5, or 1. And for 15 minute, you're going to use 5 minute, 1 minute, or 30 second. 5 minute may not work sometimes for the 15 minutes. It might be too big of a time frame, but sometimes you get some massive 15 minute moves, so it might work. So just bear that in mind. Now, if you want to do everything, if you want to do a swing trade but with an intraday entry, which is basically a very tight entry, how you would do it is essentially what I discussed at the start. So say, for example, let's start right from the very extreme. Okay, say that this is your monthly. Okay, your entry point is here. You find your confirmation. Okay, you find your confirmation on the 4 hour. Your entry point would be here. Then you find your confirmation on from the 4 hour, you find it on the 15 minute. Exact same thing. Entry point here. And then if you wanted to, you can find your 1 minute confirmation, which is the exact same thing here. This is confirmation within a confirmation, all within here to get a fat swing. Okay, to get that very tight stop loss and to get a big swing. However, if you're not worried about the risk to reward in this sense and you want to swing trade, then it's probably best bet is just following this setup if you want. Another way that you can actually boost, it is, say for example, you're in this situation where let's use a 4 hour for example. So say this is the 4 hour situation. Okay. This is the 4 hour. Then what you is look for the confirmation again on your say 15 minute or 30 minute. Say that this is the 15 minute and you got your 15 minute OB that's here. You can refine this OB to as tight as you can, as tight as you want, to get the best risk to reward in this situation, as you normally would in terms of refining the OBs. You don't have to do another confirmation. You don't have to do this again in that area. Okay, you don't need to look for another confirmation. You can just simply refine this OB and go to a point that you are happy. So you can refine the 15-minute OB to like a 5-minute OB or 1-minute OB to whatever you feel comfortable. You don't have to look for another confirmation, and that applies to all time frames that you're going for. But this is essentially the rule-based way to follow what time frames you're going to look at. So if you got a 4-hour POI, then focus on the 30-minute or the 15-minute. And what I mean by that for your entry is focus on the 15-minute confirmation entry and then refine it from there. If you're looking at the 1 hour, same thing, and so on. But you have to decide what kind of trader you want to be. Actually, one thing I forgot to add, that's the scalping. There you go. Let me add some spaces to make it look nice. There you go. Let me get rid of my messed up drawings. Oh no. Okay, sorry. How am I doing that? Magic, mate. There we go. Okay, so let's you can screenshot this. Let me get everything out of the way. Oh, maybe I can't. There you go. So that's the rule of 3. That's how to do a rule-based way to follow which time frame you're going to use. Understand what kind of trader you wish to be, whether you want to swing trade, intraday, or scalp. And yeah, so hopefully this helps. Again, you don't have to use this method if you don't want to. It's more if you're lost in terms of what time frame that you don't know what time frame to use. This is the best thing for you, just to get into the habit of it and not jump straight to the lower time frames. Don't feel that you have to jump to the lower time frames to find the best possible trades, because if you're new to lower time frames, you will struggle. So don't just rush to get to that lower time frame. Follow this rule first if you're completely new, and then you'll work on your refinements. But yeah, I hope this video has helped, and yeah, happy trading.